What's up guys, my name's Will and today I'll be talking about Tucker Max. Now there's a whole bunch of other video topics that I could have talked about, but this is what is interesting me at the very moment. There's a lot of other interesting videos I want to do later on, but right now I want to do this one, so bear with me. So for those of you who have no idea what Tucker Max is, or what is he, or who is he, let me explain it to you. Some of you subscribers already know, but let me break it down for you. Tucker Max is a guy who created a site about 4 or 5 years ago, and on it he pretty much wrote his stories in real life of his debauchery in certain locations like bars and clubs and stuff like that. And his site grew rapidly popular, and his stories were so sensational and interesting that it drew a lot of attention. I'm talking millions of views and stuff like that. And so what I'm going to tell you guys is something you can take whatever way you want, but I do have to say there are plenty of things that you should not in any way model after Tucker Max, because he is a rude, disrespectful person who is exceptionally selfish and only does things for himself at the cost of other people. But in some ways he does provide inspiration, so maybe you might find some inspiration from this. So let me begin by telling you how I figured out about him. I first found out about him through just like some forums on dating and stuff like that, and some people mentioned his name and it intrigued me. So then I found his site, and because what they mentioned about him was quite interesting, it seemed to imply he had quite a reputation and success with girls. That was the only reason I was interested, because back in the time, and still now, well, definitely still now, getting good with girls, or at least, some success with girls, is something interesting to me. So, I found out about his site, and I read quite a few of his stories, and yeah, that's pretty much what he is about. And so, I don't know. Let me just tell you guys about him. Apparently he went to University of Chicago, then he went to Duke Law. He's dated quite a few girls that were really rich, really good looking, and pretty much hooked him up with cash and stuff. He's gotten pretty popular and rich off of his site and his stories, and his dad is apparently someone who's really rich. So that's about it regarding him background wise. And for me, I just honestly don't really understand, because once you read the stories you realize that he pretty much spends most of his time frequenting bars and stuff, and he's always doing all this debauchery at the bars, drinking contests, stuff like that. And the only reason I was interested in was his success with girls. So I read his stories and stuff, and I'll get into like why exactly I think he's so good with girls. But essentially, other than that, he was freaking, spending all his times at bars and stuff, and doing all this sort of debauchery, going on vacation in freaking Mexico and stuff like that, going to jail, getting into fights. And my question is, how did he have the time to study and get good at Duke Law? He got into Duke Law School and freaking all this other stuff, and he's dated apparently rich girls and all this other stuff, and doesn't really say for a fact what his dad is or if he's rich or not. But I'm assuming, maybe, just maybe, money was involved, and that's the reason why he got into Duke Law, or something else, maybe connections or something or other. But I don't know, it's really ridiculous how some people can work so hard while others don't seem to work hard and they get like all this stuff. Not saying he's got the perfect life, because apparently he's got like a horrible childhood because of divorces and all sorts of other stuff. But it is interesting. And let's just get into real quick. I gotta show you this one story. There's this real quick. This is one story he showed, right? He apparently dated a girl who was 18 at the time, had a black Amex card, which is an American Express card that is only given to people who spend over $150K per year, and they pretty much were dating, and apparently, according to the story, they hung out a lot, and whenever he wanted to, he would like make the girl like spend whatever he wanted, and then he apparently, according to the story, he spent like hundreds of dollars on alcohol and stuff, and it was nothing to the girl. And like one day he decided to go to a certain place in Florida, so she hopped on a first class plane for him, and then got a limo to pick them up, and then drove them to like a first class hotel, and each of these items had a bar in it. I don't know, obviously maybe he's exaggerating the stories nowadays to, you know, up the revenue, the popularity, but the thing is, there's just some things that you can't freaking exaggerate. Like, if you look at his Wikipedia, he's definitely went to Duke Law, that's without question. And there's a bunch of other things in his Wikipedia that, like, he definitely made the site himself. A lot of stories just seem to be true because there's nothing that outrageous about it that could mean it's a lie or that's not possible. But it's still so outrageous. Like, he would do like these outrageous things at bars and hook up with girls at bars and stuff like that, and people would say, oh, he's just lying about the whole thing, how can someone from Duke Law go there? Or he apparently says his friends, like some of his friends are from Princeton undergrad, and then they did all this random stuff. And personally, he has a disclaimer that says at the start, you know, none of these stories are fake. I'm sure he may have exaggerated some of them, but some things you just can't exaggerate that much. It's just realistic. It's not that outrageous that he went to a bar and did some random stuff that's humanely possible. But let's put that rant aside. Let's talk about him. And yeah, so what I do find about him and why I think he's successful with girls is he's super confident. He says what he wants, and he doesn't stutter. He doesn't second question himself. He says what he wants. If he likes a girl, he makes it pretty obvious off the bat. And oftentimes he's very selfish and rude. So a lot of things that come flooding out of his mouth are exceptionally horrid, and they often get him blown out by girls. But the thing is, he doesn't care at all, and because of that, he does get blown out by quite a few girls, but he nonetheless will eventually find a girl who finds him funny despite his vulgarity. And pretty much yeah, that's how it works. That's how he finds girls, and that's how he's successful with them. So what I would take out of this is, you can do stuff if you put your mind to it. You can go to Duke Law School and also have a decent social life and have a good life. And you know, the reason why I think Tucker Max is so successful with girls, I mean, he's not that successful, but my understanding is just that he freaking is confident. He says what he wants. He tries to be nice to girls at times, but most of the times he's pretty rude. And girls just find that amount of confidence and that whole thing, that whole package, mainly just the confidence, very rare. So this is something you could develop yourselves, and maybe me and you guys as the viewers can work on it together. And other than that, I do feel there are a lot of things about Tucker Max trait-wise that are something you should not be inspired about, or be or modeled after. So if you do investigate more about him, just keep that in mind. Those things will definitely do nothing but drive people away from you. He does say horrid stuff to girls just to get a laugh out of himself and amuse himself. And I think the reason why he gets away with it is because the bars he goes to after he gets blown out by these girls, he just moves on and never sees them ever again. And so he can live this exceptionally rude lifestyle. I personally think this isn't best for you or others in the long run, because you're not going to feel that great in the long run. And of course, if you read his stories, he does do a lot of completely douchey things to his friends and to others, like some of them just involving like pooping on the floor and stuff like that. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Maybe it will inspire you or give you some more insight, but I feel Tucker Max, if you want to learn anything from him, I would say it's just be confident. There's a long list of things you can do to get confidence. Maybe I'll do another video on that. But just remember, it's not the end of the world if you get rejected. That's probably one mindset that Tucker Max has, and that gets him through all those rejections. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out, and subscribe if you like this.